And
the voice,
the heart, the soul of the Cayman Islands.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. What a terrific Tuesday's edition of Talk Today, and even better because you're going to be here contributing, sharing your thoughts, your interests, likes and dislikes, your comments, your compliments, hey, maybe even your criticism. Let's make it constructive. Let's make it participatory. Let it be a space and a place where we can share. 949-837, 1-800-534-8255. As you enjoy the blessings from on high, maybe you impart the wisdom through the ages. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. And Royal Fidelity Bank and Trust, money at work.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow, Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome, and thank you so much for joining us. Our schedule had some guests slated for the first segment, but it's open line, and as Miss Norma and Miss Paulette reminds me, the show must go on. Well, maybe it's the rain that keeps us away, maybe the rain that keeps us awake, maybe it's the rain that reminds us to be cleansed and renewed. Sometimes we gotta feel the downpour. Sometimes the outpouring, and sometimes we gotta be the ones to pour in. Well, what are you gonna share with me? Make me better than I was yesterday in the better me. Well, share your thoughts, your insights, your wisdom and your counsel, and together let's find a way to make it better. 949-8037 or toll free with the compliments of Flow, 1-800-534-8255. A number of interesting discussions have been unfolding, sometimes in the public areas right here in Radio Cayman, sometimes in that space we call social media. Not quite so how social it is, but certainly it exists. Whether we can embrace it or not, looks like we have to endure it. So let's pray for the strength and the wisdom and the knowledge and the sufficient understanding that we're able to realize that what makes us seemingly, and I say this deliberately, seemingly superior to the other animals, superior as humans, is that we're supposed to be able to think and rationalize, to be objective and impartial, loving and kind. But have you ever noticed the animal kingdom? How they seemingly surround each other to protect, their own, or how sometimes they combine forces to ensure that they are able to move forward safely. Well, could we learn anything from the arts? Could we learn anything from the way, the lions sort of prowl the savannah? Or maybe how, as the different animals gather around the watering hole. Those that are oblivious to what goes on seem to be the ones that are most, easily sacrificed. Well, sometimes the water seems to be, just clear and still, but lying beneath the surface. Well, what is there? An alligator laying in wait or something else? That may be where some of us are. We're oblivious. Others are just waiting to prey on the vulnerable. But instead, why don't we use our good senses, our conscience, and work together? I say that to ask about the political sort of scenarios that we see unfolding around the globe. Maybe we'll focus on a region. Maybe we'll be very deliberate and consciously focus on what is happening here. Now, it's not political in the sense that we are looking at anything to posture, or even when we postulate and pontificate and otherwise try to figure out what people are about because we're looking at some advantage at the expense of another. But we're looking at what it is that made us who we are, what it is that got us to where we are, and we come back to the service, the unselfish sacrifice of our ancestors. Maybe it was just our very parents, that very first sort of, line of defense that we have, where our parents did much for us to give us a better education, to ensure that we had shelter and food. What about today? Are they still facing that same struggle? Now, what about their parents and their parents' parents? And as we go back, maybe that's why we have had to date a higher standard of living, a better quality of life. But are we at risk of undermining all that they have done, disrespecting and insulting their service and sacrifice, even in the wars to defend freedoms and to champion democracy, but also to improve the standard of living, the quality of life? And will we at risk of seeing a generation that has a lower standard of living than their parents? And if it is, to paraphrase Billy Joel, he said, woe be unto us if we are the reason for their unanswered prayers. So let's work together. So go back to the political landscape. What if we have a system, seemingly how the Westminster model seems to have failed, where it's about divide and conquer, about polarizing one group, so they ensure that they're the government and waiting to undermine the other group, as opposed to maybe a board of directors. You either use the chairman or the chairperson, whatever the word is these days that we like to use to be politically correct instead of being just correct and conscionable. But you got a board with a head, and it's working together to make the company better, not just more profitable for all of the, what's the other word we use? The stakeholders. Good corporate citizen, as it were. But instead, you got a board that, one faction of the board, maybe it's one person, very eloquent, very charismatic, is trying to push the board in a different direction. Maybe even, again, to borrow a word that has probably been heavily overused and, seldom understood, bullying the rest of the board members. Maybe that board member has sufficient clout, maybe through published experience, maybe sufficient shareholding or the like, or just the charisma and the charm and the beguiling nature, goes and influences the board. Now, will that company be as profitable in all of its measures? Not just the success by the dividends it declares, its share price or the like, but its way it's perceived by customers, by the happiness of its employees, its productivity, but also how it impacts the community. Now, very, very egregious example, but what if that board is in a company that is in the sort of the manufacturing process, and knowingly, because of the charm and the character of that one board member who's able to influence maybe two or three more, or, a slim majority even, decides, but you know what, it'll be more profitable to dump the, its waste illegal at night. Examples from history are replete with such happening, because it's cheaper to dispose of that way, and whatever fine that the environmental sort of regulatory agency may impose, well, in the end, it won't be that much anyway, because it'll be more expensive to properly and legally dispose of it. So let's do it that way. But the chairman, and other board members are honorable and ethical and conscionable. And they say, well, it's better to do this way because there's a health concern. There's a greater cost than just the accounting cost, the financial cost. Now, if that was the way the company was operated, we probably wouldn't want to be associated with a company as employees, as vendors and other sort of stakeholders, and probably not as shareholders. So we're seeing increasing investors looking at companies that have been more conscionable, more socially conscious, more environmentally sensitive, and that has changed the way companies operate, at least on the surface. But what about in business? Other business interests. But what about in government and in politically elected governments? So, question that was asked of me earlier and repeatedly in recent times: why do we embrace a system that causes the political landscape to be one that is divisive, that we set up an opposition? And even if there is a united front at the board level, in our case, the cabinet or the government or the caucus or whatever that thing is, the parliament, that is about dividing as opposed to having a dissenting opinion, but also an opinion that just doesn't disagree because it's politically expedient to do so, nor does it just go along and get along because there are trappings of the office, but it's constructive and deliberate and conscionable. And then the stakeholders that matter, the shareholders and the employees of the company, or in politics, the voters and citizens of the country. How engaged are we? How informed? Not to speculate and get into conjecture and figure out ways to further add fodder, but to be constructively involved and engaged, and say to the board, or if it's the politics, the governing body, the elected, the appointed, and the sort of executive or cabinet, hey, do it this way or you're going to be replaced. And we're not going to wait until the cycle comes to an end. We're going to orchestrate and initiate an earlier cycle because you're not doing the thing. Now, that takes a lot of work and effort, and takes an engaged, informed populace to be so willing to do so, to have the courage and the conviction. Go back to our ancestors. They very deliberately set about their day. It wasn't subsistence living. It wasn't that it was necessity. It was the mother invention. It wasn't that they didn't know better. They were very conscious and deliberate and willing to offer up a level of sacrifice. Think about the education many of us have, because we were formerly able to go and sit, for exams. Our parents probably smarter and wiser, but they didn't engage in that because they thought it was better for their children. Now, let's think about it. There's a quote someone shared with me, and then I'll try to pull it up during the break and read it back to us if I can find it, because we heard it before, but maybe it's time again to repeat it. 1-800-534-8255, 949-8037. Those are some numbers you can dial us up on. Here's another, 949-6990. And of course, you can WhatsApp, 925-3261. We're going to pause, take a short break. When we come back, be the first caller. Be the 100th caller. Just call. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
It's time to stop giving dads tools and ties for Father's Day. Dads want to relax just as much as you. Get the ultimate chillaxing beach kit for Father's Day at Savannah Pharmacy. Beach shorts, shirts, flip-flops, water shoes, goggles, towels, and sunblock. Let Dad kick back and relax this Father's Day. Gift baskets, including domino sets, coffee mugs, and so much more, are also available. Get all of your Father's Day purchases at Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, or call 946-3336.
I love my daddy, yes sirree.
Freedom, Kim Rack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
For information that matters to you, the people. Hear from the government, the opposition, independents, and other experts on issues and solutions that affect you. For the record. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, tune into 89.9 and 93.9 FM from 7:30 to 9 a.m. for Cayman's new Straight Talk morning show. For the record.
I invite you to join me for the record. You are invited to be a part of this interesting and informative show. Embrace the opportunity to dialogue with your legislators, policymakers, and those charged with policy implementation.
For the record.
Brought to you by
Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors.
Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola.
Things just got a bit hotter on the island. Come in today and order the new spicy Korean subs at Subway. They're sweet, spicy, and especially satisfying. Stop in and try the pulled pork with spicy Korean sauce, or the chicken with spicy Korean sauce. And you can message WhatsApp at 929-4658. Order online or use Let's Eat or the Bento app. The spicy Korean subs at Subway in 2 flavors, extra saucy and extra spicy. Subway, eat fresh.
Talk today. but I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. If she would allow me, and I think I'll be on YouTube this time, Miss Susan. Yeah, for the rest of you, focus on our guests. I am sorry you have to see me as well, but I love radio and I love the fact that Miss Paula and Miss Norma have said we need to leverage all of the platforms we have to make it much better. And this lady is not just the wonderful sort of heritage that hails from the BRAC. It's indicative. It sort of epitomizes what is the Caymanian psyche and spirit when you talk about being on time. If she doesn't allow me to publicly sort of compliment her, our people, our parents and their parents had a notion about Cayman time that we grew up in that meant you were early. 1 o'clock didn't mean 5 past 1 or 5 seconds past 1. It was probably 1:45, 10 to 1 at the latest. Whether they were going fishing, whether they were going to church, whether they were catching a flight, or whether they were coming over to your house, they were on time. This nonsense that we love, some people came on time. That may be other parts of the world, but not here. Sadly, we've embraced it. Miss Mona was scheduled for 1 p.m. and she showed up 12:26, or was it 12:23?
I don't know.
But it was before 12:30. So she's been gracious.
You are too kind.
No, man. Listen, I think it's unfortunate that we don't call people out for their bad behavior. Sometimes I'm thankful for that too, because that might be mine that is not nice. But we don't also compliment them, give them flowers, and you do a phenomenal job with your team over at the Tourism Attraction Board.
Thank you.
You arrived early. It's pouring outside, and the only regret I have is that I can't go outside and dance in the rain and get my hair wet.
Oh, like we were when we were children.
No, like I was last weekend.
Oh, just because you're at work today.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me doing.
My daddy reminded me, he said, listen, you always got to be pray for wisdom and be blessed by great counsel, but never forget, that age is only a number. And I enjoy every minute. So,
well, if it rains this weekend and I'm not at work, I will join you on the outside.
Hey, listen. If we can have Zoom meetings and virtually whatever, you know what? Take your children outside, grab your neighbors. And as a friend reminded me earlier, go dance in the rain, man. We don't do it enough.
Yeah, we do have to do more simple things.
Yeah, man. And I'm hoping that we can. And I want to, just say thanks for not the great work you do, but since you're there, come in, we can get started. You can get back.
I someone, obviously this additional time was, I'm thankful for it, so that we can chat, about the 5K. Mm-hmm. I'm Mona.
Sorry, yes, let me formally. Mona Lisa. Mead.
Yes, sir.
She has a title at the Tourism Attraction Board. I should remember what it is.
Marketing coordinator for the Tourism Attraction Board.
General manager waiting. Sorry, Mrs.
Slowly, incrementally. So if those of you out there don't know what the Tourism Attraction Board does, it is a statutory authority that manages the national attractions, Pedro St. James, Botanic Park, Cayman Craft Market, and the Hell Geological Site. Our part of that site is what's behind the next to the post office and behind the post office. Yeah. And we were previously the administrators also for Pirates Week. So you would have seen me running around in Pirates Week every year for a few years, which I absolutely love to do. But Pirates Week is now over at the Cayman National Cultural Foundation with all the other festivals. So we run the first 4. With that, I get the job of taking, going up. I'm a people person, so I like to go out and do events and things like that. And one of the things that we're doing this year for the first time at the Botanic Park, one of our entities, is a 5K. Now, it's coming up this weekend ahead of Queen's birthday, so it's a little holiday event and fundraiser as well, because we're trying to raise funds for the Children's Garden. Many people should know about the Children's Garden by now. It's a new attraction that obviously caters to young people and everyone really, but will cater to the youth in engaging them in a way that is play, learning by play, and it will have so many wonderful features once it's done. Now, we've had our groundbreaking quite a number of years ago, and we hope to have been finished with this, by this time, but we lost a year basically. fundraising efforts kind of shifted to humanitarian efforts all of last year, as they should have. And we continue to do what we can. And by doing, in raising some funds, we've learned that we needed to do a few more events. And one of the things our director tasked us with this year was to do a 5K. And that's because he's an avid runner. So he was like, we got to do a 5K. And I'm like, yes, let's do it. So.
You know, it's amazing the amount of people here that, and I'm glad to see, hopefully it's going to transcend, many of us, that we embrace the health and wellness across all. And the people who actively go out to run, there are those of us that would joke about, well, why are you running? Is there okay, someone chasing you? But it's a great exercise, and it does a lot for the body.
Yes.
So they get to continue their training. They get to support great causes like the Children's Garden. And this is just another sort of event on the calendar, as it were.
Yes, it is. I hope this is the first. We say it's the first one, meaning we hope that we can continue this, because even we do not know when the Children's Garden will be finished. Of course, we'd like that sooner rather than later. But if this is something that we can continue into the years in future, then of course we'd be raising funds for other aspects. To be able to continue our work with. Conserving the different types of plants and found naturally endemic creatures and things like that the Botanic Park does, obviously. We want to be able to continue to fund that. Now, yes, we're a statutory authority, but we do make a lot of our funds through admissions, which we have lost, but both the Pedro and the Botanic Park with the closure. But we're making do because we've been having a lot of events. And I just have to say to everybody publicly, those of you who have come out to all of our events, who continue to support us so diligently, we just really have to say thank you. There are no other words other than thank you for your support. And for this event as well, this is the 5th event we've had this year. So between Botanic Park and Pedro.
Which is a lot more than last year.
Right.
That was just too easy.
for the Botanic Park and Pedro. So, I mean, we've had our Family Fun Day, which the Garden Club takes care of and helps us with, they manage that. We've had for Pedro, we've had the Cocoa Fest, which is, grown every year. We've then had the Orchid Show, which we saw really a large amount of people come out and support that. And that's obviously a partnership with the Cayman Orchid Society, Cayman's Orchid Society. And then we had our Spring Fair, which I was here last with you and supporting the Savannah Primary School. And now this event, which is the 5K coming up again for Queen's birthday holiday. So it's actually on Sunday, but, this Sunday coming. So we wanted to kind of give some people something to do on the day before they relax.
But you see, this is where I think, we start to appreciate more what we have here, maybe more of what we didn't realize that we were taking for granted. And with that, if I can just read this one, it says good afternoon. Good afternoon to Miss Mona Lisa, Miss Kim and Rack.
Good afternoon.
So I was out in the rain this morning and it felt good. You know what? I won't embarrass this gentleman, but I can tell you, I'm glad to know that more of us, if it's safe to go outside, it's not lightning and so on, go out, just enjoy it. And I think this is where the run gives those who are avid runners, those who are recreational runners, but those who may want to figure out how they can support something great, get some good sunshine, and sort of re-energize the body and the mind, come out and move through.
No, the event will start early. So we know that we have heard, it's so far. And I'm like, yeah, but you're not driving from, a state to state like if you're in the US. It's a few minutes up the road. And people are like, yeah, we could still come. So we have about 80 people up to yesterday. I can't say what we have registered now. We're looking for about minimum 100. We'd love to get another 20 people signed up, which shouldn't be too hard, we hope. And we think that is a great number to start our first event off with. And really and truly, it's so nice up there. We have the RCIPS. I've already went through everything with them because of the type of morning it is. The route, obviously, if I can go on to that,
yes,
is from the Botanic Park entrance. So we're not actually in the park. The visitor center and the park will be closed until 9 o'clock as its normal opening hours. But we're going to be out there from early in the morning. We start our registration at 6, and then 6:30 the race starts. We'll start from the Botanic Park, basically the roundabout at the opening or at the entrance, go out up to Botanic Road, turn left or south onto Frank Sound Road up to the Clifton Hunter School, and we'll turn around and go right back. And we end at the same spot where we started.
5K.
Yep, 5K. And actually, I had to take a few trips up there, obviously, with planning this event, and it's so nice to always go up there. Just being in the quiet, it's like meditating, you know, and you hear the animals, you hear the parrots, and I saw an agouti, wasn't this time, but last couple times I went out there, I saw an agouti, a snake, things like that you don't see on a daily, and then you kind of...
I see snakes too often. Oh, sorry.
It slows you down a little, right? So, yes, we know that that it might be a little ways out there, but it is for a good cause. It is for something that will we hope last in perpetuity for our children to learn and grow, learning about their habitat, their animals. Obviously, the National Trust is there with their Blue Iguana conservation facility up there as well, and we partner very heavily on, you know, promoting what they do and allowing people to go and see once they're in the habitat there, they can freely see those blue iguanas. So what we do up there is for us, very important. Not only for us, but for the future generation. So something like this we want to finish. We said, well, if we can't depend, you know, we're not going to keep asking. We will obviously ask, but if we're going to can put together the work and put on more events, and that's what we decided to do. And we hope that people will come up, enjoy the race, and enjoy the quiet afterwards as well, and enjoy the nature.
Well, I'm glad that you're doing this, and I'm glad that there have been so far, you know, a handful of us who've subscribed. Let's get, 10 handfuls, as it were. More people come on board, and after the race, just be out there by the iron shore in the water. Just feel, nature. There's something about the taste of the salt air. Even looking, you don't have to go on the iron shore, but just looking at it.
Well, somebody told me they were actually going on a diving trip on the Monday, and I said, well, if you come now for the Sunday, you might as well just make a weekend of it and have a staycation up that side.
Perfect idea. You don't need to pitch a tent. It's already built for you. It's going to be... I think this is where we are starting to appreciate more of what others have seen and what they see. And too many times you live amongst it. This year so far to date, I've seen more Cayman parrots, more sunsets, more goodies.
I saw 2 this week.
Yeah. And it's because, wait a minute, we lost a century last year. We lost a lot. When was the last we sat and played dominoes or cards? Now, for some of us, that's every weekend. Some of us, I'll make a date to come over and we can have a game of dominoes.
And then you never see them for
then sadly, maybe it's when
But you make a good point, because this is another one of those events. The last 5K I ran, I actually met up with one of my friends I hadn't seen in a while. We were talking the whole way, enjoyed our time together, and I mean this is another little social event, so to speak.
That is it.
It's only $25 to register. This is our first one, so we're taking it slow. Next year we'll probably have a child fee, and kind of as we grow. But this year we just said one fee is $25 to get in. Obviously, you can you get a T-shirt. We have limited supply. We'll have 100 T-shirts made up, and you can then, some of that proceeds will go obviously towards the children's garden, but there's snacks, there's green juices, there's and I have to say our sponsors, let me say Cayman National Bank is a sponsor, and they're going to be having some green to go juices out there. They're providing some snacks and things. Coca-Cola is our water stop sponsor. They'll be out there providing their Powerade and Dasani water, as well as some cakes, which I don't know how well that goes with exercising, but hey,
justification for
it's Tortuga rum cake, man.
Yeah. I mean, come on, it put a little wobble in the step.
Well, you might need a little sugar boost after you run out all of your energy.
We'll be able to find out. Check it out.
And we'll have our awards. Our awards, our medals are all donated by our craft house. They took over Georgetown Crafts and they turned it into our craft house. So we're thankful that they're there for us and supporting us. We didn't have to pay anything for our medals at all. And they will be there. Sportista has come out. They're hosting a photo booth, so you can get all sweaty. If you have your fascinator, I'll get into that. We have a little contest about creating your own fascinator, wearing it, put it on the royal fascinators that you wear, the females would wear, women would wear when they go to a royal wedding. It'll be fun, trust me. I'm trying to see if I can get a few people to wear them, since it's the Queen's birthday holiday that weekend.
Good luck on that.
We'll have some fun with our photo booth.
I'm sure you can do it. I'm sure you have that that's wonderful, appealing, sort of inviting.
You mean I'm persuasive? I can force people into doing it.
See, I would just say, you're very, yeah. Let me just be the same.
It would be wonderful to see you out there with your little fascinator on those there.
I would pay for that.
That would be a fun thing. Actually, what we're doing with that is we're encouraging people to come out and have fun, right? So if you make a fascinator, even if it's a silly thing with a headband, whatever, just take a photo, put it on social media, tag the Botanic Park in it, and then put the hashtag QE2BP, because it's the Queen Elizabeth II Botanic Park, Fascinator Fun. And then we'll look at the hashtags, and whoever's had the most likes will win a trophy, actually, and a prize. Actually, I'll tell you what the prize is.
Yeah, if it's not dark chocolate with sea salt, then I mightn't do it. But go ahead, tell me what the prize.
The prize is actually a ATV Cayman ride for two down at the Barker's Beach. Yes, which I've done, and it's amazing, and I love it.
I've heard it's fun. Maybe I'll be tempted to try that.
Yeah, so all you have to do is you don't even have to run the race with this one.
No,
you just have to make your fascinator and put it on social media for the world to see.
Yeah, start it back. Take a break. My apologies, Miss Susan. I got so captivated by the other camera back, I forgot the main one in the room. Miss Mona is, as the caller, reference, not just a former Miss Cameraback, but an incredible people person. So, your husband and children, they just have to be so blessed to have you.
They are.
Yeah, I honestly, man. Anybody knows our sister Amber can realize that those genes run in the family. All right, let's pause. When we come back, you tell us more about it. Sure. It's on 6:30 this Sunday, which is not that early. The drive is worth it. Trust me. I've managed to be encouraged without any arm twisting to come up there on many a Sunday and Saturdays. And so my friends in the East who have invited me to join them, I feel like I knew Cayman again because I've seen the lens, through some other's perspective. But let's pause and you can tell us. And that prize, sounds fascinating. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
How much do you love your dad? You can count the ways with Healthcare Pharmacy in Governor Square and Grand Harbor. On Sunday, June 20th, honor your dad with the best and funniest Hallmark and shoebox greeting cards, photo frames, coffee mugs, and even beer pint glasses. Complete the gift with brand name colognes and aftershave products. Healthcare Pharmacy, Governor Square, and Grand Harbor. We care about your health and your dad.
Student registration for the 2021-2022 academic school year is open to the public from 8th of April to 30th of June 2021. Students must now be registered online at schools.edu.ky. Parents will have the ability to enter the students' information and securely upload all relevant documents. If you need assistance, please contact the Department of Education Services at 945-1199 or email edu.registration@gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions.
Talk today. Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome, Mike, and thank you for allowing me the honor and the privilege to be, seated here, to learn so much, to laugh, and if I may, in that agape love, if I can use it in that way, to feel the love of our people, hopefully reciprocate at times, to be, blessed by the wonderful guests, and today our marketing coordinator over at the Tourism Attraction Board, Ms. Mona Lisa Mead. As a country, we're proud of you as Brackers. They're just, wow. She's a Bracker, that's it, right? So thank you. And to all of us who either through sort of registering to come out for the 5K on Sunday, but who have come through the different events, this year and been supportive, start to appreciate Cayman is a beautiful place and we need to work together to bring us more, together.
We have a lot to offer.
We do.
We have so many talented people on this island. I'm great at putting together or coming up with ideas, but I need the other people to come. You can't do anything on your own. You need people to come together to create events, to create a camaraderie, to feel the love that you're speaking about right now, and kind of pass on all the knowledge that we have to the children or to people who might be new Caymanians or just living here and experiencing it for the first time. So we have a lot to offer. That's why I like doing events.
And this is something, if I, I don't like. I try hard never to talk about the school. I don't name drop. Sometimes I don't remember names, but people like you. And if he doesn't mind, Prentice Panda and his brother Stanley, creative geniuses, entrepreneurial like you will not believe. And to see the energy, their drive, the creative juices that they have, the ideas. They just took over Jose's gas station and just driving by there, right? You can see already a change. Jose Webster, I think, is another sort of very stalwart businessman, and when he was running it way back when, just like Miss Alice is, in town way back when, that sort of feel. So here these young fellas coming along and continuing in that vein. That entrepreneurial nature, that energy, that creative spirit, it sort of exudes from you equally. So if we draw alongside, I'm going to raise.
Well, I say draw it from my ancestors.
Hey.
Not only from Grand Cayman too, but I am a bragger. I will say thank you for pointing that out, right, Miss Susan? She's giving us thumbs ups.
Mr. Dennison say, boy, listen, every bracker is a Caymanian, but every Cayman is a bracker. So that level of pride that we have, my friends from Georgetown would tell you the same thing as those from East End, from everywhere else. And that pride transcends, that national thing. So more of us who come here and we invite, they acclimate, they assimilate, we unite. 100 years from now, we'll be a great place.
We are a great place.
Right? We're going to even be greater.
We'll be greater. You're right.
But 5 minutes from now, if we don't unite and work together, we're going to be just like those places we talk about.
Yeah.
So Sunday's a way to come out and celebrate.
Yeah, and come together. Yeah, and know that your $25 is going towards something that's going to, you'd be like, I was a part of making sure that got built,
Yes.
So that's important. And one of the things I want to say, the Ministry of Tourism is our main sponsor. Fidelity is our gold sponsor. So we want to thank them specifically. I do have a few words from the minister. Yes. He gave to us a quote recently. He said, I'll just read it off. The Botanic Park's objective is to provide a space that our children can call their own, where they can play and enjoy the outdoors while learning about their island's natural habitat and the animals that live within it. By all accounts, it is not only a fantastic way to engage children through tangible learning, but it will also be a wonderful addition to the tourism market, especially for the Eastern District. So I really believe that, and I'm so glad that he said that to us, because I'm like, yes, that's exactly what we're trying to do at the park. And I have to give all credit to Mr. John Loris and his team up there, because I'm just here talking about it. They're putting in the work to build it, So while I can assist in this in my way, they're the ones that are up there, and people like the minister or the minister and other heads of companies like Chris Global, who's also a sponsor for this event, and the Discovery Pond in the Children's Garden, Cayman National, who has supported this event, and also the splash pad at the Children's Garden. We have so many other sponsors, Vigoro, and different people who've helped put this together. John Doak himself, who's given his time for the architectural parts of things. And I don't know all if Mr. Loris were here, he would be able to explain all of that. Unfortunately, he's putting in plants at the Children's Garden right now.
Yeah, he's up there doing the work.
He's doing the work.
He find that part easy. This part he finds rather you.
And I will continue just quickly.
You have a caller if you want.
Oh, we do have a caller. Let me just quickly just say this by Minister Bryan. He said, I believe in leading by example, and in doing so, the minister hopes to encourage more corporate donations, which will assist in completing the new Children's Garden. And I hope that that's what happens with this event.
Yeah, man.
I'll put on my head.
That's it. And we've got the great company of Miss Mona Lisa Mead, marketing coordinator at the Tourism Attraction Board. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling Dwayne.
Afternoon, my friend. How are you?
I am rough, regular, poor, sober, and ugly.
Well, what?
Thankful and blessed.
Thankful and blessed. That's
not as blessed as you.
Well, I thank God for the blessings and the prayers.
You have Miss Kim and Brock right beside
there, you see?
One of them.
No, the Miss Kim and Brock.
I leave that for you to fight over.
Thank you.
No, I want to publicly say that I've known Mona Lisa for more than, I would say, 25 years or about there.
So you knew when she was only 3? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
As a matter of fact, when I went to work at CNB, she was the one that was over me and taught me she is a people's person, number one, and she's not afraid to get in the trenches.
No, hard-headed like that.
She wants it done, she gets it done. Yeah, that's our drive.
So she's a very good motivator, and also she takes it to the next level because she is not, like I said, she's not afraid to get in the trenches, and she is willing and able to do any and everything that she sets out to do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for that.
Wow.
I do appreciate that.
Recognize the voice?
I wanted to find out. What
I'll tell her for you, unless you wish to identify yourself.
No, I can identify.
Yeah,
because I'm
okay.
not ashamed to say so. It's Jeffrey Wood.
Oh, hello, Mr. Wood. Hi.
All right, man. Hey, thank you for that.
So you take care and continue good work.
All right,
Thank you
appreciate
very
it very
much.
much. You do the same. And
I don't want to take all the credit, though. Like I said, it's not one person. I'm the person who would be out there. I do appreciate the compliment. Trust me, it makes me feel great.
Well deserved.
I accept that. However, it's always a team, and you cannot do anything on your own. Absolutely.
Right. No man is an island.
No.
So
this is I have to say again, the Botanic Park, for this event specifically, for when we're doing anything for Pedro, the team at Pedro, the team at Tourism Attraction Board, we work very hard to try to showcase what we have and what we're protecting and what we're conserving for the rest of the Cayman Islands, and hopefully the rest throughout the future we'll get to see. So
maybe, we'll invite you if you choose, if you want to remain with us after the break for a couple of minutes.
Sure.
If you wish.
Of course.
Okay. I don't want you to rush you, but I certainly don't want to hold you hostage. And, the reward, they say, for hard work is more work.
Yes.
I know our parents told us, the early bird gets the worm. From the, the warmest perspective, the late worm misses the bird. So, perspective. Well, let's pause. A couple of minutes when you come back, you can share with us some more, maybe give an invitation to come out Sunday.
Sure.
And as you indicated, John and the team over at the Botanic Park, the whole TAB, it's a joint effort, For them, you're doing the very difficult part of helping to promote. To you, they're doing the physical, laborious part of, putting the plants in the ground and coordinating and getting everything together. But it takes two hands to clap.
Mm-hmm.
And many hands clapping together. It's a loud, sort of chorus when sang in unison. So let's pause, come back and celebrate this beautiful country and the wonderful people that are here, whether you go back generations, whether you just got PR, whether you're aiming towards PR. Maybe you just land and you're on the house arrest in one of the wonderful facilities. You know what I mean? But think positively, act productively and lovingly. So when we come back, let's share graciously. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, I'm Shanda Gallego with your latest headlines. Public information meetings to help with Census 2021 begin this week. The first meeting takes place in Bodden Town on Thursday, June 10th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at the Theoline L. McCoy School Hall. Attendees will learn about the criteria to qualify to be census workers and have the chance to sign up for the position. Those selected will undergo training over several weeks to become either enumerators or supervisors in the different districts. Turning to international news now, a new Senate report reveals previously unknown details about the stunning security breakdowns ahead of the January 6 U.S. Capitol attack, including a finding that the U.S. Capitol Police's main intelligence unit was aware of the potential for violence beforehand. The report adds an authoritative emphasis to previous evidence that there were massive intelligence failures, critical miscommunications, and unheeded warnings that ultimately led to the chaotic response that day. More than 800 suspected criminals have been arrested worldwide after being tricked into using an FBI-run encrypted messaging app, officials say. The operation, jointly conceived by Australia and the FBI, saw devices with the ANUM app secretly distributed among criminals, allowing police to monitor their chats about drug smuggling, money laundering, and even murder plots. Officials called it a watershed moment. Targets included drug gangs and people with links to the mafia. And fans attending England's Euro 2020 group games at Wembley Stadium will be required to show proof of vaccination or a negative test before entry. The Union of American Football Association says UK-based ticket holders aged 11 or over can show proof of full vaccination, with both doses received at least 14 days before the match. Those not fully vaccinated must show proof of a negative lateral flow test taken within the previous 48 hours. England play Croatia in their opening group game on Sunday. Those are your latest headlines here on Radio Cayman. I'm Shana Gallego.
For the latest in news and information,
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gp.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. And in the studio, the marketing coordinator over at the Tourism Attraction Board, Miss Mona Lisa Mead. And there is a 5K. Now you can run it, you can walk it.
Yes.
You can come and take a picture. She'll tell you about that in a second because how she described that, I'm thinking, you know who would be great? 'Cause I know she'll look
Miss
fantastic.
Kayman.
Yeah. Miss Susan.
Oh, Miss Susan.
Yeah.
I've seen her wear a fascinator
Yeah,
before.
I've seen that. Yeah.
She says yes.
She would be, and she is up early. Actually, I think it's her that wakes up the roosters in the sun. Come on, get up, because she's here. Now, that would be a picture I would appear to see. Get her out there.
Like I said, you don't have to actually be there. We would love for you to come if you're signed up to come and wear a fascinator for fun. Those we do have a trophy, but what we're trying to do is kind of get people going on Facebook and to like our page and things like that. So make your own fascinator.
Yeah.
If you don't know what a fascinator is, it's a royal fascinator is what I've been calling it. But a fascinator is what they usually would wear, the ladies would wear to, say, a royal wedding or to even a church. It's not a hat. It's sort of like a headband or a little tiny little, it has feathers and it can be very creative with it and take a photo.
No. I mean, you put in a challenge, and I'm not one to shy away from challenges, but I'm not easily persuaded. So put this thing on my head. Do you know the ridicule, the abuse that just
and then
from,
you can say, yes, but I did it for a good cause. You should have came out.
It'd be easy just to pay you money not to do it. No. But I want to see it.
I think it would be fun. Again, I haven't seen any pictures yet. I hope that after this interview, people will understand what it is. So you can make your own fascinator with anything you have at home. I don't know if you got 2 chicken feathers in a yard. Go pick them up, put it in your fascinator.
All right. What
take
I want
a
to
photo
see,
and
once
put it
people,
on our Facebook page.
Take it, post it there, and WhatsApp it to us as well at 92532. I want to see some of this. There's probably only one person that could probably persuade me to do this thing.
Me?
Not kissing.
I can call your wife.
I'm not saying a thing. Not even her. No. Listen to me. No, I like to support great causes. I actually ran yesterday for the first time, just trying to get back into it, make sure the leg is healed. Probably foolishly pushed it a little bit too hard, but you know what? Nothing ventured, nothing gained, right?
Yeah, that's what they say.
It's sort of in.
If you're not feeling any pain, then you might be dead, right? So that's not a good thing. It's good to have pain, right?
You know what? Feel it, bless her, may she rest in peace. But when she would call, she said, thankful and painful. And when you think of how our people genuinely are blessed, are thankful, they're gracious, they're grateful, they're giving. That's what I want to see for every single person who comes into these shores. And for us to recognize that and reciprocate. Because it's true giving that we receive. Too many people take. Billy Joel talks about, you take a piece out and you touch. Too many pieces mean you touch too much, right? And we need to get there.
Yeah, and in these last few years, I know people have been, especially the last 18 months, people have been anxious and more irritable and things like that. It would be great to
just in the mornings.
To have it would be great to have everybody on a peaceful plane, and that's why we were doing meditation at Pedro at the lawn. Just this last, we did a few. We're gonna have some more. We're gonna have some more yoga at the park as well, starting back in September. These are the kind of things that we want to bring that way up this side, kind of off of the 7 Mile Beach, because we have a lot of that there. But because people up this side don't necessarily get down this way, we want to bring that kind of peaceful, kind of relaxing,
the energy,
calm. Yes, that we can now get up every day and go, okay, let me be thankful instead of look for the problems and look for the blessings. Yeah, trying. We're trying.
I think too many people would say, well, I'm not a morning person or whichever. And it's true, different people have different times of the day where they feel a little bit more at ease and motivated and energized and what have you. 6:30, 5:30, maybe late or early, depending on your work schedule, your body cycle, and what have you. But I just like exercise, right? Doing it safely. You're tired after work, or you're tired when you get up, and you do something, you genuinely feel usually better after. Well, if you get up early in the morning, watch the sun come up, for instance, you don't appreciate what it does for you throughout the day. Sunday morning, Monday is a public holiday for many of us. We don't have to come to work. Some do. But if you were to come, spend a good part of the day, or as you said, invite and spend the weekend, and you come be a part of, this 5K, it's going to give you a different perspective. There's too much that we've taken for granted and we've ignored. And for someone who seems to be on the go a lot, I'm glad that this last year has given me a perspective, on what is important. And it's those relations, those connections, and those willingness to look deliberately and consciously at why we live in such a beautiful place and why we think it's such a blessed place.
And what you just said there is sort of the impetus as to why we needed to build this children's garden.
Yes.
Is to try to build something that obviously aligns with the environmental aspect, the conservation of the plants and our endangered blue iguanas, but to give children the opportunity to go, okay, this is a part of Cayman, this is where I'm at. And when you drive up the road, it's sort of like sometimes we used to take Sunday drives to clear your mind.
Yeah.
To just take a drive, be with your family. The phones are not there. You can talk. And, look at that! Look, I just saw a fish or something jump out of the ocean when they were driving up through Baden Town or something. Or you might see so and so on the side of the road by the yard, and you can stop and say, "What are you doing today?" And I see, that is the thing that we want. By coming east, by seeing sort of the old Cayman, let's call it that.
Yeah.
So much development down this side, which isn't bad. Some people might think I'm wrong, but up that side you get to see kind of the old Cayman.
Yeah. I mean, we used to go visiting, right? As children, our parents would drag us. I mean, sometimes we look forward to it.
All my family in East End every summer.
Yeah. and I hope he doesn't feel embarrassed, but my friend Obi did something for us not long ago. And man to man, he prepared a wonderful meal. He did the stew, the conch stew. He put it together, the rice and beans. He did everything, right? And to sit there and to break bread, to fellowship with him, that was the greatest gift that he have had in the longest time, if not forever, in terms of that.
And like I said earlier, we got to get back to that simple thing. When we try to do so much, we forget. We miss the forest for the trees.
That is it. And I think the simple little half day, right? We're going to come up there Sunday, whether we run competitively, whether we take it as a challenge against ourselves, or whether we just take a friend and, as we go, we just talk. And put aside the phone for a second.
Exactly. And it's a bit early. It starts at 6 for registration. You get your shirt and your bib. Race Caribbean will be managing the race for us, a 5K part for us. So there are some people who want to be timed because they're continuously training, especially some of the younger ones. And then the race itself will start at 6:30. The runners will go first and the walkers will go after. Just to reiterate the route, you start at the at the roundabout at the beginning or entrance of the Botanic Park. You go out up Botanic Road, turn left or south onto Frank Sound Road down to Clifton Hunter High School, turn around and come back. The DOT will be out as well at one of the water stops. Coca-Cola will also have a water stop. So look out for all those things. We will be giving away water and things like that throughout the event. The $25 registration fee covers your t-shirt, up to 100 t-shirts, your bib, the raffle, so you're getting into a raffle and everything. You get your food, your green juices, your water, your electrolytes. You'll get all that through the parade. So all of that, plus you get to go to the Botanic Park. So if you want to stay afterwards, you can go in with your friends. We'll have lots of prizes. I have to tell people about the prizes.
Would you?
Oh dear, let me see. I gotta get to it now.
Now you hear that? Oh dear.
So we have. Oh dear, I'm excited. So so just a few of the names of the people, the companies that have helped us out. Obviously, Tourism Attraction Board. We're providing a reusable grocery bag with some items inside. We'll call it a swag bag. A few of those. We have some complimentary passes to Botanic Park and Pedro for 3 sets of those each. Gift certificate to the Botanic Park gift shop at $25 US each. That's 2 of those. South Coast Bar and Grill. They're giving us a certificate for their food, so you can go in and grab something to eat. Grape Tree Cafe, $25 gift certificate. Jesse's Juice Bar. We have, and we're not only talking about one. We have 3 to 4 of each of these. So we have over 30 prizes. Lavelle Restaurant, a gift certificate for there. If I'm saying it right, Lavelle. Lavelle.
On the waterfront, yeah.
Yes. Godfrey's
Lavelle.
Enterprise. We want to say shout out to Miss Sarah. She's always supporting 345, the academic or the running club, sorry, and she's always supported us with Pirates Week, and she came out for this one as well. So thanks, Miss Sarah. Sportista will also give a gift card, and like I said, they'll have their photo booth up there having fun. Chisholm's grocery store in Northside. If you go up that side,
you have to stop.
Yes, you do. ATV came on, like I said, they're doing it's a 5-stop tour. It's a joyride and a 5-stop tour for 2 people, and that is our prize for your fascinator. Now, if there's no fascinator prize or anything like that, we'll just give it out in a raffle as well.
Okay.
And then Island Life Water Sports. Now, these are the biggest prizes. 1-stop Stingray City Charter for 4. So we're really appreciative of these. This is our first one.
Very supportive, good corporate citizens.
Yes, right. So
awesome.
Next year, I'm sure we'll have more support. We'll have more fun. We'll grow this event with, if the participants come out, we'll make sure we have some good things for them. So we're thankful to all these companies.
What I'm thinking now, the park will be open, the children's garden will be there. Next year, the fundraiser will support my chocolate fund. It's a win-win.
I'll bring you chocolate next time.
No,
I forgot.
No. I source my.
But just to say, reiterate some of the words of Mr. Loris, who is our general manager. Obviously, this is our first time hosting this event, and it is kind of exciting to do some new things, which is kind of outside the remit of Botanic Park.
Right.
So he was very much leaning on me because of my experience with Pirates Week, having the 10K and the 5K there, and I'm thankful that I had that training. I also worked with the DG 5K, so I'm thankful to have worked with big, nice teams that I was able to kind of guide this through. And he's like, "This is exciting, Mona. It's something different than we've ever done before at the Botanic Park, because it doesn't really involve planting anything right now. It's just people coming out, and people like to do this.
And I think this is the place to do it. And I think we need to stop running this country down, hold people accountable, but embrace what we have, step up, step in, and stand in the gap. And stop the stoops. Anyway, that'll be the next segment. Let's get it going, man.
Yeah, so this Sunday, it's Sunday the 13th of June. We will be there from early morning. Registration starts at 6. The race starts at 6:30. We'll have a little music going. My husband Ben will be there to announce. We've invited the minister and the governor, so we're waiting to see if they'll come in.
And still come. Don't let her put you off. Sorry, Mr. Brian.
I'm sure he'll like the joke.
No.
But again, I just want to say a big shout out and thank you to all our sponsors: Coca-Cola, Sportista, Water Authority. Oh, I forgot to mention this.
Yeah.
Water Authority Cayman has a compound right there on Botanic Road.
That's right. Yeah.
Because we were taking up some of the parking lot for our tents and our little area there for the announcements and everything, they have graciously allowed us to use their compound for some extra parking. So
again,
just up the street from up the road. So obviously want to thank them for their sponsorship as well as offering that. And we hear that there'll be a few Water Authority staff members running in the race, sir. So thank you.
A few of those guys are
yes.
When say guys, male and female.
Yes. And Chris Global has, again, as I mentioned, they were part of the Children's Garden by sponsoring the Discovery Pond, but they're also on board again for this event. Mr. Kenneth Chris will be running as well, I see. Cayman National, again, another sponsor of the garden and continuing to support us through this venture as well. They'll be out there, like I said, with nice snacks and green juices. So trying to be healthy.
Yeah, man.
So all that's included. We want to say thanks to High Impact Media. They have been doing some promotion for us out on the road on their digital billboard. Radio Cayman, of course, for inviting us here or allowing us to come on. Our Craft House for the medals, Fidelity Bank, and Logic Cayman as well. So we do want to say thank you to them. And of course, can't say enough good things about the Ministry of Tourism for continuing to support us as well for this 5K.
And if maybe I can repeat the words of the Honourable Tourism Minister who said, encouraging more corporate donations. And this is where we work in together to leave a lasting legacy, to give our children something that shows that they're valued and respected and, sort of invest in them so they have a bright future. They'll pick up the mantle and continue, intervene of that giving, loving, kind, considerate nature that makes us who we are. And I commend Mr. Loris for his stalwart leadership. But I also echo what he said. Having you come here to promote what is being done, to encourage and invite the public to participate, it makes it better. And that drive Sunday morning, trust me, it's a beautiful drive. The return is even better while you're there, whether you spend the weekend. It's a long weekend, or you just go and have breakfast and or lunch at some of the wonderful places there.
Good Mood Food is also sponsoring some snacks in the morning as well. I forgot to mention them. They're now open at the park. So if you do come out to the park, they will have their menu out there and all that up there. So there's a lot going on.
Yes.
We've been trying to build on some things, but I do hope that people will come out to the Queen Elizabeth, the second Botanic Park 5K. The first one, not the second one, the Queen Elizabeth second. It sounded confusing, right? That is this
I'm
Sunday,
not gonna go there, man.
the 13th of June. We're gonna be out there. Have you guys come up at 6, be there for 6, and the race starts 6:30. Have some fun, some fellowship, enjoy nature, enjoy the drive, bring your family, and enjoy the park.
Tour the park after, man. All right. Miss Mona Lisa, you're more than welcome to come back here anytime, and I certainly appreciate the great work. The whole Tourism Attraction Board continues to look after, what I think are our assets, our treasures.
As a matter of fact, I'll take this opportunity to say, we at Radio Cayman and the TAB should get together to think of another event that we can have that promotes both, because isn't this, how many years now? Radio Cayman has been around. So
Susan was just a little child. No, true. We've not been around 1,000 years yet. But
oh, jeez. I was not a part of that.
Hey, sometimes you got to keep the hidden check. The heart is willing.
No, but, I guess what I'm saying is I welcome anyone who's interested in hosting events at our entities that would be willing to come together, just as we did with the school. Recently, last month, and any other corporate events or charitable organization, I should say. We're happy to do all that. Just talk with us, throw some ideas our way. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but it's good to have communications open in doing that.
There you go. Let's embrace and celebrate. Let's share. Let's promote. Let's protect. And you know what? Let's show the love. Thank you very much.
Thank
all
you,
right.
dude.
And blessings for the rest of today and the week. And that positiveness that we put out, we get back. If we're productive, hey, we can also be pensive if we're actually willing, to embrace. Thank you so much. All right, let's pause and take a short break. Somebody call Susan. Here's our number, 1-800-534-8255. If you don't like to dial that many digits, 949-8037. See if she's awake and listening. Call her. I think she is. Check it. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette, brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands.
In 1895, the ship the Prince Frederick wrecked on the south coast of Cayman Brac, carrying the young sailor Samuel Sidney Saunders. Saunders would later choose to remain in the sister islands, eventually marrying into a Caymanian family. Although not highly educated himself, Saunders was instrumental to the education system of the sister islands, having taught in both Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. He would start a private school in Little Cayman, was district constable of the sister islands, and opened a school in State Bay following the 1932 storm. In the 1930s, the school was attended by Captain Charles Kirkernel. Ironically, Captain Kirkernel's father attended Saunders School in Little Cayman a generation earlier.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette, brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
Want your kids to gain social skills, independence, self-confidence indoors? King's Sports Center Art of Fun Summer Camp is the solution. Make memories, learn new skills and life skills. Activities include basketball, football, dodgeball, arts and crafts, squash, drama, kids aerobics, bowling, and much, much more. King's Sports Center Art of Fun Summer Camp will be held from July 6th through August 6th. July 6th through August 6th. Monday to Friday from 8:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. Camp includes all activities, 1 lunch, and 2 breaks. The early bird special ends on May 31st. For more information, call 946-5464 or email kings@candw.ky. Your one-stop facility for fitness, recreation, relaxation.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thank you for joining us. And I hope, pray and earnestly work with a sense of discipline and respect to make it as best as we can. It doesn't mean we are without sin or blame. It doesn't mean that everything we do is perfect or even perfectly executed. It doesn't mean those things. It just means that we're sincerely and genuinely trying. Perhaps if there can be honor amongst thieves, maybe there'll be less deception. Perhaps in our dishonesty we can be honest. But let's work together. And I say that sincerely. Doesn't mean there's going to be a difference in dissenting opinions and disagreements, but if it's done civilly and rationally and honestly, lovingly, maybe it'll be better. So what's on your mind? 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. Thanks very much to Ms. Mona Lisa Mead for sharing with us. To those of you who have already signed up for the upcoming 5K on Sunday, Monday is the public holiday. You go to the park and you share and celebrate and have to contribute to the construction of the children's garden. Well, great. If more of us can come on board and support the Tourism Attraction Board's initiative in this endeavor, to those corporate sponsors who have committed in the past and who continue to support, great. But let's, in so doing, recognize what we have, reflect on where we are, and the service and sacrifice of those who've gone before, and to appreciate why we now need to work even harder to make it that much better for us now, with the premise that we have done something to give us a promise for what the future would hold, God's willing, if we're able to live, to that age, but also for our children's children, for generations and generations. Hey, 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, or 949-8037, or WhatsApp 925-3261. Share your thoughts with us. Give us a perspective on what is happening. Are there any particular concerns or cautions that you may want to share? Are there tips and other little bits that you want to share as we sort of go informally to the hurricane season? Perhaps words that help us to better prepare. We know the hazard management has been very, very diligent and giving us sort of opportunities to prepare beforehand. Good tips and good wisdom, good instruction, they're providing an opportunity for us to develop individual and our family and our corporate plans, not just for business continuity and the like, but for safely weathering the storm. Hey, 949-8037, let's go to the phones. Welcome, good afternoon. How are you today?
Hello, Dwayne, how are you? This is Billy Simamba. Good to speak to you again.
Good, man. It's been a while. I hope you've been well.
Well, I think I've been well. I was just watching your interview with Mona Lisa there. It was quite an interview.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to delve into it too much, but it was interesting, right? You were watching our interview. Back in the day, we would listen to radio. Now we're watching it. That's interesting, huh?
Well, you see, the thing about that, Dwayne, is that
I know.
Maybe you and I will appreciate it, but the kids, they take it, that's the way it is supposed to be. But we know how privileged it is and how different it is.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's great. Man, Dwayne, let me... it's a long story, but I can do it in 2 minutes. Okay.
All right.
It's about the same court case I have against Mr. Ian Kawali. I've had a number of recent developments. Basically, we're still waiting for the judgment. The judgment should come out anytime now, since the case was on the 4th of May. So no problem there. But you see, what happened since then, and I don't think I've mentioned this in a previous call, is that I had applied for a judgment in default against the judge because he hadn't responded. But they told me, well, look, we can't take your papers because we don't accept electronic signatures for in-person filing. And then they told me also, well, but the clerk can't sign your judgment in default, and it has to be signed by a judge. But then you see, then I went back to them. I said, look, here are the rules. The rules say that the clerk should sign this if there is nothing entered. They kind of like tried to give me a runaround. I complained to the ombudsman, and finally the ombudsman forced them to release, to say what the truth is. And this is very significant. They have now admitted that they were wrong, and this is now the court. They've now admitted, the clerk of court, that they were wrong to refuse to file my judgment in default. They were wrong to give the judge to decide the case. The case should have been decided by the judge. And now I've told them, I said, okay, fine. What we do is now, can you then use a certain Grand Court rule? I won't get into the actual legal rule.
Right.
Yes, but there's a rule which says that if you make an obvious mistake, it's called the slip rule. You make an obvious mistake, you can correct it without having to appeal. I have now asked them, I said, can you now correct that mistake? And they have refused to correct it. And now they've told me they don't want to engage me anymore. So I've asked them, I said, okay, can you tell me why you can't engage me? Because otherwise I'll complain against you again. Now, just to conclude, Dwayne, these are the challenges we are facing in Cayman. Today on Cayman News Service, and I think maybe other media, they've talked about somebody who apparently is not a Caymanian, probably an American, came in with a firearm, and he has got away with a fine. While some young Caymanians, 18, 19, they make a mistake, like the CUC lineman, they wind up in jail for 7 years. And to me, these are not isolated incidents. And the reason that I have kept talking about my matter is because we are now actually compiling a number of cases of people really who have been subject to misbehavior in the judiciary. You see, we will never agree with judges, and judges always do a very difficult job because they cannot please everybody. But at the end of the day, there's a certain point at which you cross the line from just making a decision which people might disagree with to a point where you are misbehaving. You are now deliberately flouting the law, deliberately saying, because this one is a Caymanian, they can afford to go to jail. The other person cannot afford to go to jail. And you know, you live in the community and you probably know of many cases like that, but I won't put you on the spot. But I know from my own corner of Caymanian society, I know a lot of people who have had their documents falsified. They've gone to jail in cases where other people have not gone to jail. Some people have had their licenses suspended while pending a report coming from the social impact report. In other cases, they're still allowed to drive. So I'm working with a number of people in the community. We wanted to see if we can help the government effect reform regarding accountability in the judiciary. It is very difficult, as you know, right now to complain against a judge. A judge, if you want to complain against a judge, you have to go to the Chief Justice. But a lot of times you don't expect the Chief Justice to chastise these people he has tea with on Sunday afternoon. In all other countries I'm aware of, when you complain against a member of the judiciary, it goes to a judicial council. And you know, in Cayman we had that under the 2009 Constitution. You could complain against a judge and it goes to the Judicial and Legal Services Commission. There were 11 cases which were heard. They were not made public, but that was a good structure. But they didn't like it and they amended it, and now you have to complain to the very people like the people who have to decide your complaint are the same people who are part of the problem. And I think we need to change that in the respect of the complaint procedure, but as well as just general accountability in the judiciary, as well as, by the way, the DPP, but that's another subject of another
So
call.
let me then ask you, as you straight out, and two things come to mind in your first example, but just take the second one.
Yeah.
What is it, a man can't be a judge in his own cause? So that's what you're saying. If you don't have an independent body to review something, the appearance could be that it's not as impartial or objective. Is that what?
Well, you have given it. You have now given it the necessary legal language. You can't be a judge in your own cause. How do you? I mean, just to give you an example. I mean, look, you go to a judge who probably has acted under the directive of the Chief Justice sometime, and then you complain against him, and the law says you should go to the Chief Justice. What do you expect? I mean, it's not even on this particular occasion, Dwayne, I'm not even personally criticizing the Chief Justice.
No. You're not.
I'm not on this occasion, but I do have some reservations regarding him, regarding other matters, but not on this occasion. If you just make the same person become a judge in his own cause, you don't expect objectivity.
Or the perception, at least. Yeah.
The perception, at least, is not there. Let me give you an example of a hearing which in Ontario, in Canada, has just ended. A judge was being investigated by the Judicial Council, which is a totally separate body. When the case came up, they went through the original checks to see does it have a substance. They found that it had some substance. At that point, they made it public. And you could even watch it online. But you see, in Cayman, even at the time when the Judicial and Legal Services Commission was hearing these matters, they were never made public, even if there was some substance to it. I know you don't want to make something public before you find out that there's something, but once it crosses a certain threshold, then you at that point, then the balance of justice is that then you should make it public. In this particular judge, it was actually on the website. If you went to the Judicial Council, the website, it was there, the link, and you could watch it live and so on, so that people know what is taking place. We need all that. You see, Cayman is a first world jurisdiction. It needs to move in these areas so that some of these things which have been happening, we can help people in society. Look at me, Lord Wayne. I've been an attorney at law for more than 40 years. I've written legislation, I've done court, I've worked in international organizations, and yet I have been having a problem. This is now the 7th year I'm fighting the same case, because now, initially I started off fighting, it was a medical negligence case, but now it has morphed into a fight against the judiciary. Why? Because the mechanisms by which I could have fought it in a less spectacular way don't exist. So I have been forced to do this. But look at somebody who is in the middle of West Bay, in the middle of Georgetown, in the middle of Northside, who doesn't have the wherewithal, the knowledge to be able to fight. How many of those people are out there and suffering, and yet the people in the judiciary, still feel comfortable?
What does it say? Justice delayed is justice denied?
Is justice denied. So what I'm hoping really when this case comes out, when our judgment comes out, I'm hoping it will establish at once that you can sue a judge if they act in bad faith. If we can establish that, that is the first point. But the other thing is, I hope it will lead to a greater realization to say, let us work on accountability in the judiciary. Let us work on making it easier for members of the public to complain against a member of the judiciary if they have misbehaved themselves.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. I mean, I know it's a sensitive issue. Some people may not appreciate that it's not sub judice. You're just reporting what has happened. But if we don't have this discussion, I think what you referenced in the past, that the act of one person, what I say, just takes one, one bad apple to spoil the bunch, could negatively reflect on an institution. And when it's something as important as the judiciary, that has to be that we are looking at it with the level of respect that it deserves, and we can't allow one single thing to impugn even the perception of impropriety. Right?
And by the way, I have to let you go. You've really allowed me so much time. Some of the sections we've been working with, some of the people who have been working within the community, is to highlight that a lot of things which pass in society, which are done by people in society, are actually criminal offenses. If you deliberately flout the law, like, for example, you flout tender procedures, and then you cause the government to lose money, that is a criminal offense under Section 121 of the Criminal Code. If you do something that's fraudulent, again, something maybe in the field of tender or something like that, which is fraudulent against the government, it is an offense under Section 118 of the Penal Code. So we need to sensitize people, both in government and outside, to understand that these are things they can be charged for. But we don't want that they should be charged, but we want them to be able to obey them.
Right.
So, but thanks very much, Dwayne. I really appreciate the time you've given me. Continue listening.
Well, thank you for contributing. I always appreciate your call, and hopefully things, as you put it forward, works for not just the best now, but sets the precedent for great things to come. So enjoy your rest of the afternoon. All right.
Thank you for you. You too. Cheers. Bye bye.
With that, and with Miss Susan's, sort of allowance, let's pause and take a short break. Keep the timer switch at bay. When you come back, more Talk Today.
At Subway, we know a meal isn't quite complete without a side, and that's why we're introducing waffle fries. Subway's waffle fries are oven-baked softness with extra crispy edge, giving a satisfying taste to be enjoyed as is or in any of Subway's dipping sauces. Order waffle fries as a side item for $2 or make it a meal deal. Subway, eat fresh.
Celebrate the Queen's birthday weekend by taking part in the Botanic Park's 5K Run Walk. Come out to the park on Sunday, June 13th and help raise funds for the Children's Garden Development. Your $25 fee includes a t-shirt, breakfast, and a chance to win in our prize draw. Enter the Royal Fascinator Design Challenge and take home the trophy for the best design. The Botanic Park's Queen's Birthday 5K, Sunday, June 13th. Register now at racecaribbean.net.
Sponsored by the Ministry of Tourism, Cayman National Bank, Water Authority Cayman, Coca-Cola, Fidelity, and High Impact Media. As the community continues to take precautions from COVID-19, it is important to stay prepared for other disasters now that we're in the hurricane season. Here are some post-hurricane safety tips from the Department of Environmental Health. Did you know that you must discard fresh fruits and vegetables, meats, foods in canisters, dented, leaking, or rusting cans after they have come in contact with floodwater? For full guidance on post-hurricane safety tips, visit www.deh.gov.ky.
Census 2021 is coming, and we are looking for census workers. You are invited to one of the 3 information meetings to find out how to qualify to be trained and selected as a census worker. Meetings are 5:30 until 7 p.m. on Thursday, June 10th at the Theoline L. McCoy School Hall in Bordentown, Thursday, June 17th at the Georgetown Primary School Hall, and Wednesday, June 23rd at the Sir John A. Comber School Hall in West Bay. Join the census team.
Talk Today. But I do have some questions. Talk Today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk Today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you for sharing with us as we invite you to be a part of our open line segment here on Talk Today. I think in the Cayman context, and I would even take it to be a great example, Mr. Dorian Miller, so the pioneer in my mind of talk radio in Cayman, set a great example through the open line segment. And for those of us, who were either of the age or the interest or were invited and allowed, even at a young age, to listen to the open line, just saw how we moderated the discussion, how we challenged the callers and made it a platform that I think much was accomplished. People like him and Mr. Loxley's continued programming now speaks to much of what is the strength of our society. And in that vein, recognizing that we have many people who've come here from different walks of life, and they bring great things to our country. Let's work that together so that we are looking for a collective vision, a coordinated effort to make Cayman better. Not to take a stamp from one jurisdiction or one country or one ethnicity and superimpose it over others at the expense of them to be that dominating, sort of almost demoralizing thing. But the thing that adds value, think of a great football team. Even the first 11, the starting 11, isn't going to get any better unless you got a deep bench. And all the positions, can't be all goalkeepers, can't be all center forwards, they all got to work together. A structured, strategic, coordinated approach, not just to win the game or to win the season, but to defend the championship, to maintain a strong fan base so that the game is fun to play and to spectate. Now, you find one person who's a prima donna and may get a glory, but that person can't stay forever, Why do you think the legends like Muhammad Ali and Pele are still revered and celebrated today? Because they were great on and off, because also they involved everybody else. So let's do that. I want to share something that a fellow I think is a good friend. He went to school with one of my brothers. He takes up a very responsible position within the public sector. He's a great dad. And I think, sometimes if we draw alongside our contemporaries, we realize how much wisdom there is in our society. And he shared, he says, hard times create strong men create easy times create weak men create difficult times. Now, think about it. Say, men will not understand it, but if you have to raise warriors, not parasites. Now, you've probably heard this before in different veins, right? But think about it. What are we doing in our society? And are we in a symbiotic relationship where we're contributing? Or are we parasites, bottom feeders? And we make disparaging comments about many, some of which probably, as harsh as they are deserving. But do we own that, recognize it, and then try to figure out how we can correct it, adjust it to make it better, improve who we are? We may not necessarily be successful in so doing, but at least we made the effort. And the set that comes after may benefit. But how many of us are willing to take everything we have, take it all for ourselves, and maybe run and hide, go elsewhere? Now, is that what we should do? Not that we're talking about being idealistic and naive, although it can be perceived as such, but about giving. How much is too much? My friends who are, recognizing the challenges of addiction, whether it's alcoholism or some other drug, will tell you one beer is too much and 100 is not enough. Well, when we look at understanding that it's a daily walk, that it is important that we come together. It doesn't mean there are not differences in dissenting opinions. It means that we're not vitriolic and demeaning and degrading and all those other things that create division, but we're looking at better. Now, discipline, perhaps when we hear about spare the rod and spoil the child, may have been misapplied and misconstrued. But think about it. You're disciplined with your eating habits because you want to be healthy. You eat in moderation. You may not eat after 5 or 7, whatever the time that is that works for you. You may say, well, I'm not going to eat too much of this, because you want to save some for later or for somebody else. You want to share it. Or you may not eat it that often. But you're also disciplined in your exercise, disciplined in your approach to studying so that you can improve your well-being. Maybe you want to get that promotion. Maybe you want to be better. But you're also disciplined in the sense that through your example, your instruction, your counsel to your children, that they follow. Now, I recognize, when we say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. There are those who say, but you can make it thirsty. Well, the cart and the stick. A good friend used to talk about, that quote from that U.S. president that, walk gently and quietly, but carry a big stick. Well, as sadly we've seen in recent times, behaviors across the globe and within our own shores, there are a lot of little things that not making our society healthy. And there are times when we are unwilling, we're afraid, we're probably not even sure how to respond to the behaviors that we find to be offensive, or not only offends our sense and sensibilities, but offend the public morals and norms. But if we don't do anything about it, then they may become accepted. I'll ask you, for those who know or who may be unsure but they think they know, think of the British system of governance. An unwritten constitution, when compared to, say, Cayman or the US, for instance, where there's a written document, been amended and there are things. But there is a system of practices, conventions, that over time, not over a year, not over 10 years, the UK has a long history. We talk about the Normandy Conquest, 1066. You look at all the things that have transpired since. And so the things, from the Magna Carta, to perhaps when the UK decided that through a referendum was narrowly, the victory to exit the EU, they do things over time with caution, with care, with consideration. And so through convention, over a prolonged practice that has gone unchallenged, it becomes the accepted norm. Not like maybe the whims and fancies of many of us, where we change as if we're changing a suit of clothes. So in the Cayman context, what are we doing to make sure that the little things that happen today aren't repeated tomorrow if they're not productive, if they're not healthy? And we accept it because, well, it seems to be good in that instance. As an argument's sake, you may oppose, again, let's stick with the politics because it's easy that way. You may have opposed that the trappings of an office comes with this, and this. And you don't like that because the person who's in that office at that time is going to benefit from this. Now, if it's a good thing that the office holder should have, it should be irrespective of who is occupying the office at that time. Flip the coin over. If the thing isn't, a thing that you think should accrue to the office because it's expensive, it's unnecessary, it's just more fluff and adds not just financial costs but all sorts of other knock-on consequences that are really, really of little or no value. But the person in the office at the time, well, that's a good person. We're going to make sure that have it as easy as possible, as best as possible, because that's a good person. And you may be right in both instances. Not the best person in the office at the time, or it's a good person. But look at the principle and the policy behind the thing so that it is the office, the institution that is being celebrated and revered, recognized, respected, as it were. No, I know that's easier said than done because we all oftentimes look more at something from the emotive perspective as opposed to leaning with it from an objective, impartial view. Easier said than done. So fast forward, and in a few years, whether that's 5 or 50, what is the Cayman that we want to live in? Are we all behind burglar bars in our homes? Are we afraid to go out after dark because of the crime rate? Or if we do, boy, let's go out with an armed posse, hired security guards and all sorts of things. Not, sadly, something that is unimaginable. We don't need to look far to see that example. We don't need to look to those third world countries or those former colonies or anything. We can look to the industrial world for those things. But what if our society was one where you could sit on the beach or at Barca somewhere or on the public beach, next to the governor's, and you sit and chill, and your children can safely play in the water, and you don't have to worry about being harassed or accosted by anyone or kidnapped or worse. And even if you were to doze, it's safe because other eyes and hands are there to help you, to ensure that all who are there are safe. But maybe you don't have that concern. Maybe you're worried of, if my camera is right here, or if you got your wallet there, that someone's going to take it. The peace of mind is gone. Or someone's going to come by and want to, sort of pressure you into buying something. Now, if you want to buy something, it's right there if you want to, but you don't need to be pressured. How many of us have traveled? Remember not long ago when we could do that? We weren't all subjected to what it is now we're experiencing. But we go to places, and the resorts that we stayed in, vendors were allowed to come onto the property as if it was some great deal and set up a shop. Well, even to that may have its advantages, but we may see it as a growing way to continually divide society. Well, if those exist other places, are we that naive to the prospect that it could happen here as well? 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. Now, I want to share a comment that has been shared with us by some of our listeners relative to what we see in our country as we develop activities, safe, nurturing activities for our citizens, but in particular for our youth. And we look at Kim and Bragg. I think our Sister Islands are fantastic. They're amazing. Not just the people, not just their work ethic, but are we paying attention to what may happen 5 or 50 years from now? What has happened in the last 5, 10, 15 years, all right? In terms of the population growth and the whole landscape relative to the populace and the like. But the question was asked, are there sufficient activities for the youth on the Bragg? Well, maybe we'll ask that in relation to the country and wholesome activities, and maybe not just use the definition of youth as our national youth policy may have adopted, but think of how we look at our youth at age 17. So you're not old enough yet to do a lot of things, most important of which is to vote in the country. If you choose, you can drive a car, you can legally engage, but you can consent to sexual behavior, but you can't vote. Now, are we looking at what we are allowing for them as they come of age? And maybe it's the youth who is 25, 27 even, right? May have finished university, may have got some graduate studies under the belt, maybe in employment, but perhaps not quite fully ready to move forward. Now, when we compare that to our parents and their parents, well, at 15, 18, 21, because of circumstances, they were much more mature and experienced because of the way they were. Go back to what I read that a friend said, how we are raising up perhaps a society of parasites where people are just taking and not enough giving. People are measuring their worth by their wealth, their material possessions, as opposed to what they're giving to society. And just like the appointed person already elected, whether that's in the politics or in government or on the board in your company or your organization, whether sports or religious or civic or otherwise, are we ensuring that there's competence, not just a commitment, but there's a strong ethical approach to doing the right thing? Well, give us your perspective, challenge what is said. And maybe, it's a free-for-all, and we need to have a laissez-faire approach. And, he who dies with the most gold win, as opposed to the mantra, who lives with the most grace and contributes to society, leaves a greater lasting legacy. Well, the headline news looms. Miss Susan is always gracious right there. Would like you to stay tuned and listen to the messages from our wonderful sponsors. Thanks to those who come on board and advertise with us here. Got a fantastic team in our sales department. And when we come back, join us. Share a thought. Challenge the status quo. Champion the status quo. Put forward a perspective, because we live in a healthy democracy. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
It's time to stop giving dads tools and ties for Father's Day. Dads want to relax just as much as you. Get the ultimate chillaxing beach kit for Father's Day at Savannah Pharmacy. Beach shorts, shirts, flip-flops, water shoes, goggles, towels, and sunblock. Let Dad kick back and relax this Father's Day. Gift baskets, including domino sets, coffee mugs, and so much more, are also available. Get all of your Father's Day purchases at Savannah Pharmacy and Countryside Shopping Village, or call 946-3336.
I love my daddy, yes sirree.
When you're tight on time and budget, but big on flavor, Subway's Meal of the Day hits the spot. Enjoy daily meals on classic sandwiches like tuna, Black Forest ham, meatball marinara, and more. Starting at $6.25 for 6-inch meals and $8.75 for footlongs. You can get Subway's Meal of the Day. Enjoy a different sandwich on a different day for the same price. Mix it up with cookies or chips or waffle fries for the same price. Subway, eat fresh. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Please be advised that the pension contribution holiday has been extended until 30th of June 2021. Employers and plan members should ensure arrangements are in place for salary deductions and remittance following this date. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan, keeping you informed. For further information, visit chamberpensions.ky, and for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. We're here for you.
Make a splash at the Flowers 1 Mile Sea Swim on Saturday, June 19th. Thank you, Cayman. Swim registration is now closed, but you can still be part of the world's richest open water event and show your support with Walk and Watch. So please go online and register today. All registered walkers are eligible for random prizes. 1 in 10 wins. The Walk and Watch is for anyone who wants to be part of a beautiful and exciting day on 7 Mile Beach. Cheer the swimmers on and support our community. All registration fees will be donated to the NCVO Children's Services Cayman Islands. Walk and Watch at the 29th Annual Flowers 1 Mile Sea Swim on Saturday, June 19th. For more information and to register, go to flowersseaswim.com. Proud sponsors include the Flowers Group, the Department of Tourism, Davenport Development, Ministry of Sport, Flow Cayman, Health Services Authority, DART, CIBC First Caribbean, and CUC.
Do you know the signs that your child may be vaping? Increased thirst, desire for flavor, nosebleeds, acne, cutting back on caffeine, pneumonia, finding unfamiliar USB drives, battery chargers, or spare parts. It's important to talk to your teen about this new risky trend. For families with a history of addiction, your child may be at an even higher risk of dependence from vaping products. As the popularity of vaping continues to rise, so does your child's risk. Watch for signs. This message was brought to you by the National Drug Council and Radio Cayman.
Follow Radio Cayman on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio Cayman.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, I'm Shanda Gallego from Radio Cayman's newsroom. Government reported the results of 623 COVID-19 tests on Monday. 4 came back positive, all travelers in isolation. So far, 72 of Cayman's estimated population has gotten 1 dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Turning to international news now, former Bosnian Serb commander Ratko Mladic has lost his appeal against a 2017 conviction for genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity. The UN court upheld the life sentence for his role in the killing of around 8,000 Bosnian Muslim men and boys in 1995. The massacre in an enclave supposed to be under UN protection was the worst atrocity in Europe since World War II. It is not yet clear where Mladic will serve the rest of his sentence. French President Emmanuel Macron was slapped in the face by a man in a crowd as he spoke to the public during a visit to southeast France on Tuesday. Video of the incident posted on social media showed. The footage, shared by CNN affiliate BFM, showed Macron walking up to a metal fence and clasping the arm of a man in the crowd as he began to greet onlookers. The man, while gripping Macron's arm, then slapped the president across his left cheek while yelling for the end of Macronie, a pejorative term used in the French press for Macron's presidency. And Thailand began its mass COVID vaccination program Monday following criticism of delays and concerns over health authorities relying on AstraZeneca shots produced by a company owned by the country's king. The Southeast Asian nation is battling a third coronavirus wave with the highest number of daily cases and deaths reported since the start of the pandemic, raising public concerns of adequate access to vaccines. On Tuesday, Thailand reported 2,662 new COVID-19 cases and 28 deaths. That according to its COVID-19 task force. Those are your latest headlines here on Radio Cayman. I'm Shanda Gallego. From Radio.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thank you for joining us here on this edition of Talk Today. 949-8837, 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. Now, at the end of the show, we've taken to, going back to what we did early days and decided to revisit again, is to find a song to sort of maybe capture what we say and encapsulate, perhaps to inspire, nurture, and to cause us to pensively reflect. Not just be introspective, but reflect on where we are and what we can do and what we're doing and what we're not doing, how to make it better. Well, Miss Susan has selected a song. I'll tell you more about it towards the end. I put on a notice now that I would like her to introduce it before we close it up, but if she doesn't, then I will. But I say that to say this. Where are you? You know, not only where are you in the equation and where are you in relation to your contribution. Sadly, many of us, you know, we thump our chests and we put it out and we brag and boast and, you know. Then there are those of us who don't do enough to celebrate our accomplishments, our achievements, because for some reason we feel as if that is being boasting. Fine line, huh? That one who, you know, sort of is a blowhard, as my mom would call him, we condemn. Probably rightly so. But then the person who does great things, we don't bring enough attention so that can encourage others to step up. A fine line. Now, we used to have a policy once, I'm not quite sure whether you agree with it, so you can share with me whether you think it's right, that whereas in the same breath we say we should give people roses, flowers, and the accolades while they're alive and they can appreciate it, and then we went to say, well, we won't name roads, for instance, after people who are alive or buildings, whatever, because they could do things. Seemed to be a contradiction in terms, and then somehow we moved away from that, but it may be only for some people. And then while something is ongoing, we give them high honors, whether history would judge them differently because they're still alive and they may do something not deserving of such an award and recognition, or because the thing on which they get an award for is still transpiring, still going on, still happening now, and it may turn out to be, well, a farce. It may turn out to be all for naught because the thing isn't what they said it was. Where do we draw that line? Interesting, huh? That's where we need to be critical consumers and thinkers and actors and doers who are supportive and nurturing. Let's hit the phones though. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Mr. Sterling, good evening.
Good afternoon, Brother G. How are you today, sir?
Highly fleaward.
Yeah. Well, the rain is falling, my friend, so maybe there'll be blessings of mercy and grace. Love, provision, and protection.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm up in the east and we got some little earlier. Just enough. The good man about knows how much,
Yeah, my friend, that's the good thing, His mercy endures.
When good thing, man can't control that.
It was a good thing. Indeed,
but
indeed.
Thing I just call him, seeing him kind of big up. Radio came on a little bit.
Thanks.
So, I'm a... No,
No, radio came on. Radio came on. That's why you said it. I say thanks. Yeah.
Okay. But you're not part of Radio came on?
Well, indirectly, you would be giving us accolades, but I share with you, this is an incredible, invaluable space that may at times be undervalued by all and sundry. We see it during natural disasters. We recognize the importance, maybe as a business community, when they really need to reach the true audience. But it's a great space and a great place, and I'm honored to be a part of it, man.
Well, okay, well, you're part of it, then so God big you up too. Listen to me.
That's not a phrase I use, but thank you. Yeah.
Do you carry that seat home with you in the night?
This seat? No, I'm actually thinking about bringing one back with me.
No, I just want to call it big up some of the DJs. It's kind of hard.
Yeah.
To big one about the other one, because,
No, fair enough.
I mean, they're good. They're really, really good. And over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've been listening. Right after the news in the evening, the 6 o'clock news, JJ, I don't know where he dig up all of them old songs from,
This is at 7 p.m., right after the hour. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it goes from 7 until 8. A lot of old...
Before the Music Express comes in. Yeah.
Pardon?
Before the Music Express sort of formally starts.
Yeah,
man. I'm with you.
The old Cayman music, some of my own music.
Yep.
Me myself didn't remember, and all real old songs.
Yeah, man.
The Kayaso and all of them,
Yep.
And then you got Susie. You can, boy, I can get in trouble.
Yeah, you think so? You're a big boy. I'm sure with me the first thing you got time to switch.
I just want to say that I appreciate Radio Cayman because
thank you.
I can depend on them all the time for everything,
Yep.
But I just wanted to say it about them old days. They bring back a lot of good memories in the evening time when you listen to them. I was listening to one by Baba. Baba, Bobby.
Last
night because it was a long time that I didn't hear that song, and just as I was thinking about it, I heard it come on. And that was a great song by him,
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that was a wonderful song, man. That was a number one song,
But his mother was one of the probably greatest piano teachers ever.
Okay. I didn't know his mom, but me and him still communicate, But and he got more time now to spend. But the musicians now look like in Cayman, they gone low key, They were silent, and like it's not no work going on. Now I guess it's worse. And then I was listening to Thanks and Praises, man, and I was so surprised because I think it's the last album that they had done in Jamaica. Yeah, man, it was wonderful, last night there. So just wanted to big up Radio Cayman when they come on the news, and then we got Susan in the morning, we got Silver Fox,
You got DJ Lynn, you got Joel, yeah, man.
Everybody.
You got them all, man. You got them all.
Okay then, take care.
Hey, thank you for recognizing that, and I appreciate that caller for sharing because it's probably speaks to what we were saying too earlier. That let's recognize and reward people while they can appreciate it. Good for them, good for their families. If she would allow me, I did it to her earlier, and I'll do it again. Miss Mona Lisa when she was here earlier, recognizing that she was reflecting what I think our parents taught us. Be on time. Some was recognizing that traffic might be a bit bad, the weather might be, so we need to leave a little early to get there. We can't leave 1 o'clock to be there 1 o'clock. Unless you know how to get there in a nanosecond. Usually it takes a while. And even though you may have been like what I tried to do way back when in a different world, where I knew exactly how long it took me to get from A to B, and I did it as a game to myself. It wasn't anything that if I was late for that it mattered, it would have mattered to me. I could time it so that to the second almost. I tried to see if I could do that. The principle of just-in-time manufacturing, just to see. But if I want to be there on time, be respectful, and respect what I thought, is and was the ethos of my parents and forefathers, that meant that I had to be there, earlier than the appointed time. But earlier, we saw in her something that we don't see in ourselves often enough. When someone gives you a compliment, they take it. The caller called in and says something, and she said, "You know what? Thank you for that." Because too many times we believe that when a compliment is given, there's an ulterior motive, or we don't know how to do it. We shift in the chair and stuff, and we become bashful. But we're getting better, and it's because we're starting to show publicly our true appreciation. Let's go to the phones, though. Welcome, good afternoon, and thanks for calling.
Hi, good afternoon, Sterling Gold, Jean. I'm doing.
How are you today? It's been a while.
Not too bad, thanks.
All right.
I want to endorse what that previous caller said about all of those beautiful, wonderful country songs and hymns that Jared Coe, JJ, our good best DJ, plays, him and Susan. Let me tell you, I have to say the same thing when I hear those lovely country songs and some of those beautiful hymns. I don't know where Jared digs them up from, but he sure finds them. He must have them in a nice vault or something.
Yeah, he is another resource, huh?
Oh, I tell you, he deserves a nice award and medal for that. He is a big asset to Radio Cayman, believe me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
Those wonderful songs that they play.
Yeah, some evenings, you know.
So much like real life. And so relaxing and something good to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I don't know if you listened to the radio this morning, Radio Cayman, and they were on from 7 till 9, but it wasn't until just before they were going off that I turned my radio on, and I heard them saying somebody was on speaking about
the art on the business buzz.
Georgetown pedestrian friendly.
Right.
That really want to be friendly, not for us Georgetown people and people from Southtown. Believe me.
Okay, but give me that perspective. I did hear not every single word. That was on the business buzz. Miss Anita was hosting. They had a guest there, and what the gentleman name was now? She called Donovan. Right. I was playing.
Donovan who?
Miss Susan. I can't remember what last name is, but Anita was on the business buzz. We can probably go back online and find it. But he was talking about the space upstairs, and then he was talking about some. A space where they have art, and then he talking about putting in a full service kitchen. I think he said a space where they can do stuff from stand up comedy and So I heard most of it, but I can't tell you verbatim all. I can give you the gist of it.
All I really got to hear was the part about
the revitalization,
closing, making downtown Georgetown pedestrian friendly. Like I said, that really won't be friendly because we really do not want it and we do not need it. This is pure foolishness, and in my opinion, I think their biggest excuse for that is for the cruise ships when they come back, because, they want the passengers off of those cruise ships to have all the place in the world to walk in Georgetown. But what's going to happen about the traffic? The traffic is already bumper to bumper and backed up all over the place. Let me tell you, Saturday afternoon, early afternoon, on North Sound Road, going from Cool Road to Foster's and everywhere else, the traffic was bumper to bumper. It was like driving in New York. What the hell? Where do they expect to put all of these cars?
Yeah.
And how are people going to manage if the roads in Georgetown are closed during the day? You have the courthouse, you have businesses, you have post office, you have this. Where are they going to park?
But
do they expect people to take a bus, get off of the bus, and walk and get wet up in rainy season? And what about all those people that work at the court's office? What about the staff there, the people that have to attend court for their hearings and the jurors? I mean, it's so ridiculous. It ain't funny.
Yeah. If I can ask, though, I mean, when we look at a central business district and look at what Georgetown, and maybe for those of us back in the 70s and early 80s in particular, and we look at what Cayman was like in our little districts. So the center of West Bay with the post office being there, the commerce and the merchants, Georgetown and the other districts. Borrowing from what we think was the plan or the practice in many other jurisdictions where the surrounding area like that was where you came and you had everything, to the notion of this neo-traditional design that morphed into what we call new urbanism, and then this notion of...
Sterling, I'm getting close to your closing time, and I know this is what I want to say.
Go right ahead. Yeah, there you go. I made you forget it. You talking about revitalizing and all the traffic and where the people in quarters got park and all that. Go ahead.
Exactly. I mean, the traffic is going to be so backed up. Everybody is going to be another 6 hours behind getting where they need to go.
Yeah, you're right, man. Right. But the question is, though, do we not now need to look at it?
Let me tell you. You know what they need to check on, straighten out, and sort out is all of these bar license and liquor license that they are issuing left, right, and center every couple of feet and yards away. That needs to stop. A moratorium needs to be put in.
But likewise, what
about all of the stabbing, shooting, and killing that has been happening at these bars and 2 recently in Georgetown, I believe it was, or one on West Bay Road, and one or two in Georgetown. That's what they need to tighten up and buckle up on. We don't need all of these liquor licenses to make this place a complete banana republic. It's a doggone shame and disgrace, and I don't care who like it from who love it, but if I had my way with tobacco products like cigarettes and cigars and liquor, I would ban the importation of every single one of them into this island, because all it is doing is destroying and ruining lives and people's health, killing people. We need to wake up and shape up, man.
Okay.
Cayman is not like the way it used to be, and we don't have to be like other countries where they're killing themselves, drinking all the time and smoking cigarettes to make themselves sick. I mean, this is ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Well, you know what? It's a time to consider where we are and what we want to be, and figure out what service and sacrifice we need to make in order to accomplish that. Anything else you want to share, Ron?
Implement and enforce those district councils, because the elected members, in my opinion, they wanted to have everything their way, and they did not want the constituents, different people from the different constituencies, to have their say and their way with how their constituency needs to be and should be.
But haven't we almost gotten there fully now? Because we have 19 little bits and pieces with the country chopped up and divided the way we are, as opposed to when people coming together, recognizing that all who are elected are affected and impacted by all.
We didn't need any more than the 7 districts that we had.
Well, we got 19 now.
Constituencies is pure garbage.
So where are we as a populace, you know?
I would like to know. I don't think they know themselves.
Well, there you go.
Anyway.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Help me. Support me with what I just said.
Yeah.
We need some good backing on these things.
People need to wake up and stand up, step up.
Yeah, they need to put a moratorium on a lot of things in Cayman, and they have gone haywire with planning. I mean, you go West Bay, good Lord in heaven, you can't even see the sea anymore. They're allowing everybody to build on the iron shore on the beach.
Yeah, but that's us, right? That's us.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the next thing is it's running up the insurance to people with their homes. Nobody can afford it anymore.
Challenges that I think we're probably just kicking the can down the road.
The Lord is not going to be sleeping all the time for them, you know.
The Lord doesn't sleep in a slumber, Mom.
I don't know why they forgot Ivan so quick. We might have a worse Ivan next time. I'm sorry. I hope we don't.
I pray we don't. Yes, Mom.
Yes, Mom. We need to wake up and shape up and do things right and stop. We need to get a new, sensible, sustainable planning law in place quick and fast as possible. Let me tell you.
Yes, ma'am.
All the stupid amendments they were making to allow people to build on the iron shore and build these 10 stories and 5, 6 stories all around people's private homes. Nobody has any privacy anymore. It's ridiculous.
Yep, that's probably the next big commodity. Privacy, digital or physical. Thank you, Mom.
All right. Thank you, too.
Thank you. God bless. All right. Respectfully, let's just pause, take the very last break. When we come back, we invite us to hear from our callers. Stay tuned.
The HSA Specialist Clinic has relocated to a new, modern, state-of-the-art facility at Smith Road Center to offer you a better patient experience. Receive care from top specialists in chiropractic, complementary and alternative medicine, neurology, ENT, urology, pain management, and more. Our orthopedic and telemedicine clinics remain at the Cayman Islands Hospital campus. Please remember to bring your own face mask when visiting any HSA location. Visit our website, hsa.ky, to learn more. At the HSA, you matter to us.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
Radio Cayman, your #1 community station, would like to remind you that we are in the hurricane season, and in order to survive a hurricane, you need to be prepared. If officials' sources say a hurricane is imminent, please board up or shutter up windows in your home or place of business. Remember to use good lumber, as makeshift boarding may actually cause more damage. Also put strong bracing on outside doors so that they are not blown off or blown in.
This hurricane advice was brought to you by Radio Cayman, your caring community radio station.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thank you for joining us as we go straight to the phones on this open line segment of Talk Today. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
There was no one woman you were dealing with, Emma.
I hope that she knows how much she's loved and respected by all of us. I think she's an incredible lady.
One woman. Only one.
But you see, that's the... Now, but you see, her, you, and many like you remind us of the women in our society. And I hope the young ladies will look to you guys as examples. And equally, that as men in our society, that we start to raise our own standards and stop being this. What is the word I want?
No. And I will call you going up to the field.
Okay. Go right ahead. You listen. Sometimes.
No, and I say nothing. I just said that was only one woman you was dealing with.
You imagine that?
You say no more than that.
Yeah, she won't mind than most men. Yeah.
And I left you alone. I leave you alone. Bye.
All right. Bye. You know what? Thanks for that caller. And I look to my own, sort of mothers and sisters and the women in my life, and I'm telling you, it may be that we look to women in other countries as great leaders, and that is excellent. But let us not dismiss the women of today in the society, and the women have gone before. They're incredible. We have incredible men. We celebrate them. And that is excellent. And let's celebrate our families and the like. And it's not just the women who have Cayman ancestry, but the women who have come here. Some, for decades, some for maybe just shy of a decade, maybe some that are recent. But there's something. It could be the taste of the salt air. It could be the sweet smell of the sea breeze. It could be, that soothing, 7 Mile Beach sand, or the sands and the seas and the like. But it's something about this space and this place in the Cayman Islands that motivates us, that imbues us with a sense of courage. So let's celebrate that. And as we come here, maybe the freedom that we feel to try something anew, to maybe try something again, because it's something that we believe in. We have a strong passion and motivation. Now, let's find a way to bring that together. And like the callers before who shared, that if things are not the way we want them to be, well, let's identify what we want, and let's figure out how to make it, possible. And sometimes there may be a difference of opinion as to how to achieve it. But if we don't have a clear consensus as to what that thing should be, probably every single person would say that those who are elected go in with the intention of doing the right thing. They want the very best. Along the way, they may, get lost. They may become sidetracked, what have you. But is it that we're not working together? Is it that we don't have a collective vision? That ethos that we have isn't sufficiently inculcated in us? Our ancestors might be because they had to live in a time, who are, in today's world, probably wouldn't survive in their world because we don't have the metal. But maybe because, we have it easier in some ways, we don't realize how much harder we have it. Well, think of today as a gift. And with that present and the presence of mind, we can make it even better. And it doesn't matter who it is. Once we're respectful in our presentation, respectable, in our demeanor, we should be able to challenge people. Now, it would be nice if we didn't have an ulterior motive and we weren't cutting and undermining, begrudgeful and beguiling. But doesn't mean just because we call a spade that it has to lead to division and discord. Anyway, 949-837, 1-800-534-8255. Miss Susan stands by and answers the calls, passes them through. We'll listen and hear what you have to say. If you want to share a thought with us, let's go to the phones. Good afternoon, welcome, thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling Dwayne.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
Yes, woman, I go run this country.
But I would say
in the 21st century. Okay? That's the opening line.
There you go.
I listened to two other super women, both of whom I love dearly.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to say three things. This is not the first time we've heard that. This has been, I think, on the plate for quite a while. You heard it talk about the beautification or whatever name it had first of bringing back Georgetown into revitalization and Ray and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it came from her uncle or grandfather, whatever we want to call him, because he's owning us.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the businesses that was in town or that are in town, including structures, I heard that some of them are going to be converted into apartments and whatnot so that people live, because every other city you go to, you have residential living. It's a high cost of living, but we got billionaires here, so they can afford anything. And so it would be that the rich and famous, maybe because locals can't buy anywhere. We don't have anywhere we can go. But as it is, if they're going to revitalize and they're going to make it what they call it community friendly or city friendly, it will be where years gone by, I can't recall where we had places that we could go and dance in Georgetown per se, unless it was a concert. But I know we did have where stores were open till a little bit later, and you could go there and still after work you could shop and all like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Georgetown's a ghost town from after 4:30, 5 o'clock from the last years, and I don't know who really brought it, or I know who really brought it, made it happen, because the rich Caymanians didn't stand up and fight these people and show them that we have a say here too and a place here too. So if it's going to happen that it's going to make it better for all of us, then it's not a stop, because they already got it on the planning plate.
Right. But let me ask you, and a great lady reminded me recently in the supermarket that we were part of an initiative, this was in the early 90s, of doing the same thing to town. Is it that we as a people are begrudgeful of each other and jealous and whatever we want to say? And I say this carefully but deliberately. We seem to cut down ideas because of who's saying it, as opposed to supporting the things because it's good. So whether it's Georgetown, or whether it's the beach, or whether it's a park or a school, if we're not working together and supporting the thing as opposed to opposing it because of the people, are we going to get any further ahead?
No further ahead, and that's my reason why I said.
There you go.
We can't stop it. We're not going to stop it again, because they had this advertised and announced for a couple of years where you have somebody that's chairman of it, and if people are making a big salary to hit them things, then it means that, it's not going to be ever taken off the plate till it becomes materialized. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to then wait to see how it works. And in my opinion, because I've been into cities to know what cities and city life is like, including the Caribbean, because we are not Caribbean anymore in the terms of how we look. Our structure is European and more Americanized and everything else. But we can only then say, we can't stop it, because what the old people would say, if you can't beat it, you've got to live with it or work with it and see how it turns out to be. But I will say this, that definitely at the end of the game, women are going to rule this country in the 21st century. And the only time that we can really get things to be the way that we would want is when you get strong back, what you call turtle back women. And like how we had those men that we call them, the stalwarts, those iron men. Mm-hmm. There's such a thing as iron woman, because in the world we have one already, Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah, well, let me ask something, right? If for argument's sake, men were running things and made a mess of it, and we switch it to women, what if we have a cooperative approach, so that the man and the woman, as people, we're putting the best people forward, and they're working in unison. We're working collectively, we're working together, just like we would think would happen in a household with the spouses, right? That they work together. So why don't we find a way to bring together the strengths of our people, whether it's a group of men, women, group of men and women, that we stop polarizing and dividing and labeling and somehow causing, right, that sense of being conquered because we're divided. A house divided can't stand, we're told, right?
That's right.
So let's find a way and draw on the strengths, the aptitudes, the abilities, the energies that exist within all of us. And when somebody or something isn't in the best interest, we pull it aside, we correct it, we give them the reasons for why it's not working so, and we invite them to come back to the table. And if they don't, well, we say, listen, sit on the sideline. You know, the coach would tell the best player, listen, you're here not in the game today. We got bench you, right? Don't matter how good you played yesterday or the day before or the week before, but today you're not up to scratch because of whichever. If that's a good coach, right? So maybe we need to do that.
That's right. I agree with that. And this is the first time for a long time that we had a more level of females in the house. So I guess what we'll have to, I think so. What we'll have to do is wait, watch, and see how this is going to play out.
Okay.
And as it is, they always say, if you watch them and they're not doing what they promised to do or what they told you they could do, then you should know what to do, because this is the first in a long time that I ever seen something like this where
right.
they didn't do it in what I call cohesive to bring up a theme that was already planned.
Right. But I hear what you're saying, right? But let me invite you to consider something else. Instead of taking a wait and see attitude, and instead of adopting this make-do mentality, let us be a little bit more informed, engaged, and proactive, and let's say, listen, this is what we want, and if we wait and see, right? As an example, very obvious example, your car is in neutral and it's going down a hill. You can stop it right then and there, because up ahead is an embankment or there's a big wall and you can crash into it. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. You can wait and see. The very obvious is there. Or you can say quickly, stick your foot in and, pull the handbrake or put your foot on the brake. Right? Many people wait and see, well, maybe it'll curve off, right? The very obvious. Some people are not sure what the obvious is, and they will say, well, let me wait and see. And then the very proactive, right, person will plan and prepare and have contingencies to make sure, not get paralyzed in analysis, but are there to make sure that the best outcome is possible. They don't take a don't care, wait and see attitude. So why don't we now move consciously and deliberately, passionately, with a purpose and a presence of mind to make things better, as opposed to sticking our hands in our ears and pretending that, well, let's wait and see. Let's work together. How about that?
Yeah, that's right.
There you go.
That's
all
right.
right.
We didn't go deaf and blind. You got that one right.
Blessings to you, Mom.
Yes, right. And you know what? I heard a thing, and I'll just end after that.
Yes, Mom. Yes, Mom.
Somebody talking about 100 days. I think it's the U.S. that I've heard that after every election of the president. Mm-hmm. But that couldn't work here unless you gave the people that stand and get up and promise you what they're going to do, and you as the citizens come back to them and say, well, you know what? This is what we're challenging you to bring forth to us in your first X amount of days that you get in. So we can't go and hold them by 100 days because that was not done at the campaign stage. So that's my bit on that. Mm-hmm. I thank you for listening, and you have a good one, and we got to be careful on the road because it's kind of water out here.
There you go. Thanks for that reminder. It's not a challenge to people now to go out and see how skillful they can drive and how much risk and chance they can take because it won't happen to them. As a caller, caution and asked, be a little bit more kind, considerate, and careful as we go on the roads. A lot of rain fell and the roads are probably slippery. Your visibility may be a little bit impaired. Just be a little safe. And if you get where you're going a little bit late because you're being a little cautious, and the person, whether it's the supervisor, the spouse, or whomever you look at and say, boy, you're late, say, well, listen, better late than never. Arrive safe is better than not arriving at all. Now, can I get Miss Susan to tell us what the song she selected? Would you do that for us? So the listeners can hear that incredible voice you hear in the morning with Susan in the morning. Come on, Miss Susan.
Good afternoon, Sterling. Good afternoon, listeners.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, man. I appreciate the song, that you selected. Introduce it for us.
Well, it's by Aaron Crabb. It's called If I'm Guilty. And some of the lyrics include, if I'm guilty, let me be guilty of too much mercy. Mm-hmm. So many moments I'm busy talking when I should be giving. So many moments I'm busy talking when I should be listening. Mm. Yeah, I need to make it more about others time after time, I have found the simple truth is whatever you give is going to come back around.
Wow.
Powerful lyrics.
Powerful lyrics. Well, this is the song she selected. Let it be a mantra for our day.
It's Aaron Crabb, If I'm Guilty.
There you go. Well, thank you all for listening, and invite you to come back tomorrow for more Talk Today right after the midday news and midday meditation. I would want you to please join Mr. Art in the morning for the record. Stay tuned though, as Susan plays some really easy listening music to take us into the 3 o'clock, where we join the Super Jam between 3 and 6. And for the hour remaining after that, some excellent news and information. Jared Coe, as the caller shared, gives you a bit of music. Until tomorrow, my friends, be blessed.
To criticize when someone else fails. It's so easy to see faults in them when we overlook ourselves. Lord knows I'm not perfect. I don't deserve to throw rocks at anyone. So if there's a mistake you see in me, let it be this one. If I'm guilty, let me be guilty of too much mercy. If I'm gonna be wrong, let me be wrong for treating someone else alright. I don't wanna push down. What I wanna do now is help a brother back on his feet. If I'm guilty, let me be guilty of too much mercy. So many moments I'm busy taking when I should be giving. Too many moments I'm busy talking when I should be listening. I need to make it more about others. Time after time I have found the simple truth is whatever you give, it's gonna come back around. If I'm guilty, let me be guilty of too much mercy. If I'm gonna be wrong, let me be wrong for treating someone else alright. I don't wanna push down. What I wanna do now is help a brother back on his feet. If I'm guilty, let me be guilty of too much mercy. I don't wanna push down. Oh, what I wanna do now is help a brother back on his feet. If I'm guilty, let me be guilty of too much mercy. Oh, if I'm guilty, let me be guilty of too much mercy.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. And Royal Fidelity Bank and Trust, money at work.